Hi, my name is Melissa Oates, and I will be presenting for you the financial plan development. The purpose of this work session is to inform administrators for the upcoming work session that we have, explain what information is needed and why, provide clear instructions for submitting data and proposals, and establish timelines for collection and scheduling of the session. Why accurate historical and current data matters. Accurate historical data provides a baseline to identify recurring costs, revenue trends, and long-term commitments. Up-to-date information captures recent changes such as enrollment shifts, program starts and stops, grant awards, staffing changes that offer or alter forecast, multiple sources such as building level program leads, HR, facilities, technology, and special education, transportation, and grants, and reduce the risk of blind spots, the areas that we don't see. Reliable input, strengthen revenue forecast, and reduce last minute adjustments that undermine planning. How accurate data creates the big picture. So consolidated data enables district-wide comparisons and prioritization. It shows linkage, and that's with how enrollment affects staffing, how program growth affects materials and facilitates needs, and how one-time versus reoccurring costs impact sustainability. A complete big picture. It supports strategic decisions rather than reactive cuts. It allows leaders to align resources with district goals and state requirements. With major budget areas to focus on, we want to focus on personnel with salaries, benefits, substitutes, and overtime, which is the largest recurring expense in education. um, Educational or instructional programs. That's going to include curriculum materials, professional development. Special education is going to include services that are provided to the students, maybe even the staff and administrators, contracted providers, and program staffing. Student transportation, that's going to include routes, fuel, and vehicle maintenance, particularly with buses. Facilities and maintenance, that's going to include repairs, utilities, capital projects. With technology, that's going to include devices, licensing, and cybersecurity. With grants and categorical funding, that's going to include restrictions, carryover, compliance, and with contingencies and one-time needs, that's going to include emergencies and startup costs. As far as questions, administrators should answer for each area. Some of the questions should be, what are reoccurring costs versus one-time needs? What positions or services are essential to student outcomes? What program expansions or reductions are being considered? Are there pending contracts or renewals that will affect costs? And are there anticipated changes in enrollment affecting staffing or facilities? As far as identifying internal climate issues, why internal climate matters, that is going to include morale, retention, productivity, and ultimately student success. Examples include high turnover, leadership vacancies, workload imbalances, communication breakdowns, and how to report it. You're going to report that with brief descriptions, evidence such as surveys, including cultural climate surveys, vacancy rates, exit reasons, and that can come with the exit surveys when someone leaves, and proposed supports or interventions. You can use this information to plan staffing, professional developments or PLCs, and resource allocations that support healthy working environments or conditions. With bargaining points and collective bargaining considerations, why bring bargaining points now? So, timing ensures budget can accommodate contractual commitments or identify offsets. Early identification avoids surprises during bargaining that could force mid-year cuts. And what to include: propose changes to salaries, schedules, work conditions, or benefits, and anticipated costs with first year and ongoing and potential offsets, and then with administrative roles, submitting clear proposals and cost estimates. And this can be coordinated with HR and labor relations. How accurate data supports bargaining decisions. Data links requested changes to fiscal capacity, such as projected revenues and reserves. Demonstrates trade-offs and helps district negotiators offer realistic proposals. It provides transparency to governance bodies and the bargaining unit. Submission requirements and what to provide. There should be a one-page summary with supporting data such as spreadsheets that can be done through Excel or Google Sheets, enrollment projections, um, position lists and vendor quotes, evidence for internal climate items such as survey results. You can use SurveyMonkey, Google Forms, turnover figures, and incident counts. Cost estimates separated into first year costs, recurring annual costs, and one time expenses. Suggested priority ranking should be done at a high, medium, or low level with brief justification. And with suggested one-page templates, you can use a consistent form for all submissions, making sure you have area or program name, contact information, current baseline expenditures, make sure they're brief, requested changes or identified needs. Make sure there's cost estimate, source of data with payroll report, a head count, and vendor quote, and also if there are any grants that are rewarded or awarded. There should be priority levels stated and designated for high, medium, or low, and notes on risk or dependencies. The preferred file format should be in a narrative summary with PDF or Word, spreadsheets with Excel with clear tabs and column headings. Also, Google Sheets can be used and then downloaded into Excel. Data exports with the CSV. Supporting documents can be used with PDFs with quotes and contracts. And if including sensitive personnel data, follow district privacy protocols and send via secure channels. You can put locks and password saved emails into play. With the timeline for submission, there can be a couple of options. Option A, 2-week window for rapid cycles, and option B for a 1-month window for more complex submissions if you need more time. And the review period should be done with the finance team, which will consolidate and follow up within 1 week after the deadline. Who should you send and submit to? You should submit primarily to the finance office with an email, and there can be a submission portal link. Again, you can make that password safe or password protected. You want to copy that to your direct supervisor in HR if personnel or bargaining items are included. And for technical uploads, follow the instructions on the submission portal. As far as next steps after submission, you want the finance staff to compile district-wide big picture budget overviews, identify gaps, overlaps, and high priority needs. Prepare Summary materials for the work session, such as district summaries, area summaries, and data visualizations. And as far as the administrators, they will have to ask the question to review consolidated summary before the work session. Be prepared to discuss priorities and rationale and trade-offs, and bring any additional clarification with clarifying data to the work session. Tips for preparing strong submissions. You want to be concise and evidence-based. Differentiate between wants and needs with identifying critical services. Provide realistic cost estimates and cite data sources. Indicate flexibility with what could be scaled, delayed, or phased out. And highlight potential funding sources such as grants, restricted funds, and one-time reserves. Here's some frequently asked questions. A question can be asked, can I submit tentative figures? And the answer is yes. You want to mark them as tentative and provide assumptions. We will follow up for clarification. Another question is, who answers questions about payroll detail? You want to answer that with contacting HR with the name and email. Sometimes you may have to also include employee IDs. With another question, are templates available? Yes. You want to use templates that are attached on the submission portal. And the last question, what if my program has restricted funds? So the answer to that, clearly label revenue restricted items and include compliance notes. And in closing or call to action, your role as administrators is critical. It is going to have to be accurate and timely and comprehensive with submissions to enable thoughtful budgeting. In the action items today, you want to review the templates and data requirements. Begin collecting historical and current data from your teams and submit your packages by the deadline. And for questions or support, you can contact the finance lead. And that is all for us today. Thank you so much.